Zambia Blog Talk Radio.
The Association of Zambians in DC, MD, and VA presents the second annual gala. Host, Dr. Grace Mukupa. Co-host, Kwangu Liwewe. Guest of honor, His Excellence Ambassador Chibamba Kanyama. Date, August 19th, 2023. Time, 6 p.m. Venue, Gaithersburg, Marriott, Washington Center. Charges, individuals, $125. Table for 10, $1,150. And VIP, $200. Special appearance by Muka Chisaka, Miss Africa USA Culture Ambassador. Entertainment by DJ Flowkid. Dress code, formal dinner wear. For tickets, send your payments via Zelle at AZDMV@unitedstates@gmail.com and Cash App at $AZDMVA. Sponsored by Nostalgia Solutions, Association of Zambians in DC, MD, and VA, and Amazon.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. My people, my family, this is Jimmy Katuta, your truly servant of your people, but we all know that. Today we have a special program. Most of you might know that I am launching a show. It will be called Bank on Zambia, and it will air live right here on Zambia Blog Talk Radio, so look out for that. We were actually going to have it today, so we decided to postpone the launch of it because something came up. And what came up is why we're here today. Today we're here to talk about the Amora Legacy Hope Foundation. This is a foundation that is designed to help young women, and I will let the people that know more about it give you more details. But I'm happy to be here. I want to begin by thanking Pastor Nathan Nkama for allowing us this opportunity to be here on Zambia Blog Talk Radio. I'm actually currently in South Africa filming, so for him to allow us this moment to discuss this is such a pleasant opportunity, and we're very grateful for it. We don't take it kindly. I want you to understand that what we need to do as Zambians is to support one another. We always feel that somebody else will do it. If you ask for support, for instance, if we have events that are coming to your area or anywhere in the United States for that matter, and Zambia, always make an effort to attend those events. Because what happens is, if we don't support each other, then our events don't succeed. And guess what? If our events don't succeed, then we ultimately fail as a nation. So this is not something to take lightly. Today, I will introduce you to some very, very important people that I've come to respect. I want to begin by introducing Dr. Cynthia Chirwa. She is the founder and president of the Amora Legacy Hope Foundation. Dr. Cynthia, good afternoon. I think it's morning there, right?
Yes, it's still morning for us here. Thank you so much, Mr. Katuta, for giving me this opportunity, and especially to Pastor Nathan Nkama for allowing this space for us to come here and really share a little bit about this very deeply personal story of how the Amora Legacy Hope Foundation came to be.
Well, yeah, it's such a touching story and a truly inspirational one as well. As you know, I was there in Lusaka with you, and I had the privilege to speak at the funeral of our daughter, but I'll let you speak more about that. But before we do that, I'd like to bring in our sister, Miss Priscilla Chola.
Petronella, actually.
Petronella, oh, you see, I knew that it was typed wrong.
Yes.
Because you always go by P,
yes.
right? Yes,
Growing
sure.
up, I never liked Petronella, so I prefer to be called Shola, but that's my legal first name. So
Oh, so Chola is your former legal first name?
no, Petronella is so, but I go by
Petronella.
my middle name. Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well,
Yeah.
good to have you here. Glad to see you.
It's good to be here. Looking forward to
Yeah.
having this discussion. I would also like to thank Pastor Nkama, for allowing us this opportunity to actually come on and talk about, this wonderful cause that, this foundation is going to embark on. So, yeah, looking forward to speaking with all of you.
Yes, and I always we were talking offline, and I said I think the biggest worry we have is when we're dealing with public speaking, we tend to monitor our words, and as a consequence of that, we don't deliver our message. And that's why I said for us, we are brother and sisters.
Yes.
I just want us to talk calmly and naturally, and let the people know why it's important that they should come and not only attend the event on September 1st, but also support the organization as a whole. So, what I would like to do is, because I know that Dr. Chira is the founder and president of Amora Legacy Hope Foundation. What is your role, Ms. Chola? What is your role at Amora Legacy Hope Foundation?
I'm actually a board member, and I'm also leading the planning committee for the launch and the benefit dinner, which is taking place on September 1st in New York. But I'm honored, that Dr. Chira, included me as a board member, and I take that seriously because it's such a worthy cause, and I'm
Yeah.
ready to hit the ground running and working. Yeah.
And if I know Dr. Chira right, everybody that she picks, everybody that she surrounds herself with, is somebody of quite capability, caliber. And I'm trying to mince my word to sound politically correct, but the honest, the honest truth is that Dr. Chira is such a perfectionist, and she makes sure that people that surround her are people that not only bring value to her as a person, but also to her nation, which is Zambia. So, Dr. Chira, tell us why Amora Legacy Foundation.
All right, thank you so much. And just a nod, I strive for excellence. I
Yeah,
used to be perfect. I used to strive for perfectionist until I got myself some mentors who actually told me that was impossible. Always strive for excellence in what you do. So, yes, in picking my board, I was very intentional as to who I wanted to be part of the vision of Amora. And it's quite a very personal story for me because my daughter passed suddenly this past January from heart failure. And the foundation, maybe just to step a little bit back, is I actually designed this foundation for my first master's in 2009. It was actually supposed to be a women empowerment and enrichment program with social enterprise, and alongside that I designed a boys and girls club concept centered around STEM, an after school program. And that I was going to form a foundation to do work back in Zambia. I told myself, when I finish school, I get my doctorate, this is what I'm going to do to give back. And for some reason, I just never got that okay from God. I'm a very spiritual person, for those that want to know. I never got the okay from God to move forward. So it was always just there. But I found myself doing so many of the acts that I put in the foundation. So fast forward, when my daughter died, I went to bury her, and then for some reason I just heard God telling me it's time for the foundation. And I was very confused because I was still grieving. I felt I hadn't even really started grieving. I hadn't dealt with the loss the way I wanted to deal with it because there was so many moving parts, trying to get her from the US to go and put her to rest in Zambia. There was just so much. I felt I really didn't have the time. And, when God speaks to you, he confirms it in several different ways. So I said, okay, I'm going to walk in faith. So the first thing I did, I had bought land in Chilanga district 6 years ago. Never went to see it. Twice I've been to Zambia, never went to see it. And this time God said, you have to go and see it. And it was on my way to my plots that I saw this school. First, I saw kids walking, little kids. I have a grandson who my daughter left, who's 6 years old. I saw kids as young as 6, 7 years old walking long distance because there's a gravel road on Nampundwe Road. So when we went, I was just observing. Now, when we were coming back, God just put it and said, you got to stop. So I stopped. I told the driver, stop. I went to the school. I asked the kids. And when I saw the dilapidation of the school, my heart just sank. Immediately, it was as though the grief that I had, the burden that I had, was lighter than what I was seeing. So I had a chance, spoke to the headmaster, spoke to the kids, and I couldn't believe that a school that is like 45 minutes outside, when you get to a Kafue roundabout to get to that place, about 45 minutes or so, in less than an hour, can be that dilapidated. And I clearly heard God saying, this is your project. I want you to do this project. So I had mixed feelings. That was in February. And I prayed over it. I went back, took pictures, interviewed them, came back, and I just said, you know what, I'll do this after my 1-year anniversary when, we have the memorial. And God just said, no, you got to do this now. So and I found myself dealing with feeling so much fulfilled working on the project, because having an only child, I think people that are close to me know that I'm very intentional. I planned so much for my child that when she died, it's like, what's the point? I know I have a grandson, but you work so much to build something for your kids, to prepare for them so that they don't have to suffer, or they don't have to go through what you went through. So then God said, there's a bigger purpose than just your child. I didn't bring you here just to look after your child. You're supposed to be a river. Things are supposed to flow through you. And through you, you can do so much to enhance my kingdom. And those were very specific words. And I told myself, I said, okay, I'll walk in faith. I don't know how to do it. And then I said, okay, I'm going to do a benefit dinner in memory of Tasha. I remember sleeping, and God clearly said, no, all glory goes to me. This is not going to go. This is how I want you to proceed. Everybody that's going to be a part of rebuilding this school, renovating this school, or even donating a certain amount of money, when you put that memoriam, it's just not going to stand just for your daughter. It will be everybody in the diaspora, whoever puts a certain amount of money, have a brick laid in memory of their loved one, so that from generation to generation, people can see and say, oh, Miss Chola was in the US for so many years, and she helped rebuild this school because she has put this in memory of her mom. And it just got me thinking, because one of the questions I would always ask, when I went to Columbia, you see all the buildings at Columbia University have names. There's Zanko building, there's all these different buildings. It's people that have supported those buildings, and their names are there. So this is something that God put in my heart. One of the things that we don't do as Africans is we're not good at leaving legacy. When somebody dies, they die with their name. No matter how great works they did, we forget about them. And I told myself, the day I die, everybody will know my name. There will be a building that will be standing. There will be lives that will be changed, because my personal goal and my values is how many people are better off because I walked this earth. And looking at Natasha and the kind of person she was a very selfless person, very caring. Because she was an only child, she was very privileged, but she always was drawn to kids that were very vulnerable, kids that were struggling. Because every time she would be graduating, she would bring me a list and say, Mom, this one, and that one can't pay for graduation pictures. They can't pay for this. So I told them my mother is going to pay. And I'm like, why would you do that? She says, well, you told me to share. You've always told me to help. I'm like, but this is too much. This is becoming a habit. So now I realize that was her heart. So every time she was like, okay, you're paying for this. You can afford it. And I found myself helping her friends. One of the things that she did last year, first, it got me so upset. 3 of her friends needed to raise money for school. She had them register for DoorDash and Uber Eats, and she would take my car, have a schedule, drive them around. And when I found out, I was so mad. I said, what about the wear and tear on my car? She says, Mom, we have 2 cars. This car is not doing anything. My friends needed the money. So, it's now when I look back, she was such a selfless person. She was always connecting. Every time her friends had questions about life, she would say, oh, my mom is into mentorship. I've mentored so many of our friends who've gone on to, these are kids in their 20s. They're building businesses, they're entrepreneurs, they've found their purpose. And my daughter was like, she was a connector. So it just felt so appropriate for me to switch my my program that I designed for women to focus on the youth. Because I truly believe the youth are an investment. If we don't focus on the youth and begin to shift their mindsets in terms of, being leaders, because those are the leaders that we're going to have tomorrow. And how do we want to see leaders tomorrow? We got to prepare them now. We got to help shift their mindsets. We got to work on, mentoring them and coaching them. When you look at me and what I've achieved in this country, I'm a product of mentorship. Without mentorship and people opening doors and guiding me, I wouldn't be where I am today. And it's interesting when you talk about Chola being on the board. She's actually on my personal board. I have a personal board of directors for my life. I have, a spiritual advisor. I have an academic advisor. Chola is one of my advisors. I have like 6 people that every time I'm making a decision in my life, these are people I run through my thinking process. So she's not only on the board of Amora, she's also on my personal board of directors. So
you know, what's interesting, Dr. Chira, is that because most people would ask why the foundation, because as you know, in the diaspora now we have these non-profit foundations popping up everywhere, right? Non-profits, we call them non-profits in Africa, I guess we call them NGOs. So it's interesting to know that this was an idea that you had before the passing of our daughter. Yeah. So this is something that you had already thought about. It was already in your heart. So to see you really actually bring it to fruition and then add more detail to it to encompass our young ones. So that's interesting. Because what I want to say is, like for me, for instance, I postponed the launch of our show, Bank on Zambia, which was supposed to air today, this day, because this to me is more important. Not to take anything away from our business entrepreneurship programs that we intend to launch with Bank on Zambia, but the fact that, like you said it best, our children are our future. So we are supposed to focus on anything that has to do with children, our youth development. We have to focus on that because ultimately they're the ones that will lead us. And if we do them right, and by doing them right, I mean if we guide them and make sure that we mentor them, then they will be better mentors to their peers as they grow. So I'm glad that we did this. Bachola, Bamashina. I like to say Bamashina because I am also a Chola. I
Yes.
come up with twins, right?
Yes.
So what is your take on Moral Legacy Foundation? What do you see? Where do you see this organization going?
Well, I seriously believe that, working with Cynthia and just having known her, by the way, for those that are not aware, Cynthia and I have been friends since we were teenagers at Kablonga Girls. So we've known each other a really long time. But the foundation, of course, was, established to empower, the next generation by supporting the underprivileged kids. For those of you who've been to the website, one of the focuses, children from single parent homes. We actually believe that, our vision is to be the catalyst for change. If we help the children and the youth, to have sustainable livelihoods, they can break the cycle of poverty, not only for themselves, but for their families and to have a brighter future. So both of you, Bamashina and Dr. Cynthia, you talked about, mentorship. It's actually one of the programs that we have. So we have 6 programs which will be tailored to some of the the services that we want to offer. We want to give these children, access to education. We want to give these children access to healthcare services, mentorship programs, job training, entrepreneurship, and also just community engagement programs. So it falls right in line with, what the vision for the organization is. And as Cynthia is an action, a results-oriented person. She's already adopted the school. So the benefit dinner, it will not only be for the launch of the organization, but also, a benefit dinner to raise funds, to renovate the school. So it's exciting, it's right in line with, what our child was, a very selfless person, a very giving person. So these programs, I believe, will make this organization, successful and will change the future.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, Dr. Cynthia, Dr. Chira, the school, what do we have? What classes are we looking to teach at that school? Because I spent a week with you in New York when I was in New York, and by the way, I miss your cooking. To this day, I miss your cooking. I left New York and started gaining weight already. I was saying, you see, I should have stayed with Dr. Chira because you were feeding me so I trained, but now I'm gaining weight again. What I want to ask you is what kind of programs are you going to do at this school? And do we have anybody that has reached out or stepped up to say they're looking to sponsor or help out?
Okay, yes. So the school is already in existence. It's a community school. It's actually already there. But then the infrastructure, if you look at the pictures, we have some on the website. For those of you that are watching, you can go to the website under the community space. You look at the pictures. There's actually two structures, two classes, which are extremely dilapidated. There are no tables, not so many tables, no chairs. It's not plastered, no windows, some of them no doors. And they have grades 1 through grade 7. And because of lack of classrooms, they've broken the grades into two. Some classes happen in the morning, some in the afternoon. And when you look at the way the school is, really, I wouldn't want my child to learn in such an environment. And what really struck me is when you speak to these kids have a dream. These kids are so intelligent. You can tell that something is happening at the school in terms of education, because when you watch even the video that we recorded, and by the way, all the kids that are featured in that recording, in that video, we obtained parental consent. Every parent signed, because I'm so passionate about kids and protecting privacy. I wanted to ensure that the parents understand what we're doing, why we're doing it, and we obtain consent. I hate to see people posting children anyhow, even if it's for a good cause, without parental consent. So everybody signed consent. You can tell that from baby class, grade 1 and grade 2, their English is not that great, but as they get to grade 3, grade 4, grade 5, they're speaking fluently. To me, the first thing I saw was they're learning something from this school. You can see, even when you go back and watch, you can see from the kids in the other grades. And there's just too many kids for 2 classes. Mm-hmm. There's no ventilation. There's no proper desks or space for kids to occupy. They have a computer room. No one can sit in the computer room because there's no ventilation. It's so hot, and the computers are covered in plastic. So one of the things we want to do is I already got an architect who's redesigned the school, and I got a builder who will give us a quote. And because it's a school, apparently I'm told we need an engineer on board. So we already have that. And the only thing that I need to do before the launch is possibly pay for the 3D plans, so people can see what the structure looks like now and what we envision it to be after it's completed. Obviously, it's completing the classrooms, making sure we obtain desks for them, making sure that we staff the library. And this is where the community comes in. There's already somebody who reached out to me and said they want to adopt the computer room. So they're going to help in acquiring equipment for the computer room. Somebody can take up the library. Someone can take up the football pitch. We should come up with a process. This is not an overnight thing. I don't envision this to happen overnight, but the immediate things are going to be done is making sure that the classes are up to standard, and then everything else will fall in line with the help and support of our donors and our funders and everybody else that is looking to be a part of this project. And the way we've redesigned in part of the memoriam is we're going to have like a little roundabout, a memoriam where anyone who's going to donate $500 or more will have an opportunity to lay a brick for their loved one, like in memory of maybe my mother, or in memory of my sister, or anything like that. That way, those structures stand, and it shows that so many people came together to help the school.
Oh my God, that's wonderful. God bless you for that. We're going to take a short break. And I'm hoping that we have the footage of the student, the pictures or the videos. If we do, we'll check with you after the break. So we'll be right back.
Thank you.
The Association of Zambians in DC, MD, and VA presents the second annual gala. Host, Dr. Grace Mukupa. Co-host, Kwangu Liwewe. Guest of honor, His Excellence Ambassador Chibamba Kanyama. Date, August 19th, 2023. Time, 6 p.m. Venue, Gaithersburg, Marriott, Washington Center. Charges, individuals, $125. Table for 10, $1,150. And VIP, $200. Special appearance by Muka Chisaka, Miss Africa USA Culture Ambassador. Entertainment by DJ Flowkid. Dress code, formal dinner wear. For tickets, send your payments via Zelle at azDMV@gmail.com and Cash App at $azDMVA. Sponsored by Nostalgia Solutions, Association of Zambians in DC, MD, and VA, and Amazon.
Thank you and welcome back. We are having a conversation. Those of you that have just joined us, we're having a conversation about the Amora Legacy Hope Foundation. And this foundation is going to serve our community. It's going to help elevate our community. So I'm really, really looking forward to see this to fruition. And that is why I was fortunate to be asked to be one of the MCs, Master of Ceremonies, for the event, which will be on September 1st, 2023. I'll be alongside our sister, Miss Liwewe. So it's something that is going to be exciting. We are expecting a lot of people to come and support, because obviously this is something that's going to help our people. And we will have a good time in the process, because they say, Nangumule Losha, Limo Limo, Kwaribano Kuchinda. So Mukuchinda Munsansa, it not only helps us to keep our loved ones close in our heart. It doesn't mean we forget them. It just means we keep them close in our heart, and knowing that where they are is actually a better place. So welcome back, ladies.
Yeah. Can I just I forgot to make one point, and I know so many people were asking, why Friday? Why did you make it Saturday? So the reason why I chose Friday, September the 1st, is because that would have been Natasha's 27th birthday. So instead of me sitting down, just grieving, crying, I believe when you focus your mind on other people, you get healing. Healing comes when you take eyes off of yourself and you project it to somebody else. So I specifically wanted to launch it on that day to celebrate her and give hope to other kids, instead of just sitting back and maybe wallowing in my tears, locked up in my house. That's the day when I give hope to other kids. That's the reason I chose that. And then another point is some people, have been asking, isn't it too soon? People heal in different ways. To me, working on the foundation, I mean, everybody who's in the organizing committee can say, I can work the whole day, the whole night. Where the energy comes, I don't even know. Anything else, I'm so crippled right now with grief. But when it comes to working on this, knowing that I'm going to give hope to other kids. It's just the possibility of opening doors for these kids. We don't know where their life is going to take them. I believe we are all destiny helpers, whether or not we acknowledge or we realize that we are somebody's door to their success. So that is the reason why it's barely, this is the 8th month. She passed in January. It's not even a year. I'm working diligently on this, is because her death has to have meaning. It has to have purpose. And the purpose is to give back. That's the only way that I can deal with this grief, is knowing that I'm uplifting somebody else, another person's child.
Right, right. And it's important that people understand that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So just because your biological child passed on doesn't mean they're not, you don't have other children out there. You have a lot of other children out there that need your help. So I'm glad that you decided to be brave enough, in spite of all. It's unimaginable how much pain you must have gone through. I don't want to get too detailed in it, but sure, Mashina,
Okay.
what do you what do you do for our sister here to keep her grounded and keep her comforted while she pursues this journey of empowering the young women? Because I imagine it must be difficult for you. So how do you make sure that she stays positive, not forgetting the loss of her child, but also understanding that she has a bigger purpose? How do you do that?
A lot of times, we people tend to think we're helping. And it turns out that, it's very easy to say the wrong thing to somebody in her position. So I try by all means. I tell her all the time, I said, I can't carry it for you, but I can walk with you, and part of that is just me sitting there. This is the most appropriate emotion when she's crying. I'm like, this is exactly what's supposed to happen right now. So I sit there and I listen, because there's nothing I can tell her that can take away the pain that she's, enduring right now. And
Mhm.
as much as I can empathize, it's not on me, and
Right.
people tend to forget that. So I listen, I let her talk, and then when she's feeling okay, and sometimes I would call, to work on, foundation work, and we end up going in a different direction. So just being supportive. I'm walking with her. A lot of people are walking with her. She knows a lot of people. She has a very, very good support system. So at least if I'm not there and I'm not available for her, I know that, there are other people who are just listening with her. And another thing I was going to mention, grief, it comes in different ways for different people, but we have to be cognizant of the things that we say. I cannot tell her, oh, Natasha is in a better place. It's God's will, but that's not going to comfort her. So we have to be sensitive, with our choice of words when talking to somebody who's grieving. So when she threw herself into this work, I was like, okay, let's go. Let's do this. So just making sure, because the families that we're serving, we know that they lack the resources and the support, to provide their children with stable and secure upbringings. So by developing these programs, raising funds to support the school, we at least ensure that these children will have brighter futures. So I think it makes Natasha's passing meaningful. Her legacy will live on. And Dr. Cynthia, if you can just explain the meaning of Amora, how it came about, I think it would be very helpful
Yeah.
for the people listening.
Yes. So, I mean, my daughter growing up with me, I'm a very entrepreneurial person. I literally, my role or just becoming an entrepreneur, I started being an entrepreneur at 7 years old. That's a story, watch out when my book comes out, you'll be able to read about that, because my mother was in the military. She was a nurse, but she was very enterprising. She ran multiple businesses. So I started doing business at a very early age. I literally used to raise my own money to go on trips, like, school trips, because my mother used to empower me, like, okay, here's the money. This is what you need to do. And sorry, I don't know what happened with my video. Yeah, so she used to empower me. So I think my daughter growing up with me, had it in her that, you know, she wanted to be an entrepreneur. She didn't want to accept, but she wanted to be an entrepreneur, and she was into cosmetology. She loved doing hair. She loved doing makeup. And one of the things she was working on was a makeup line called Le Belle Amour. So she shared that with a couple of her friends, and one of her friends apparently got the name, registered it, and patented it or copyrighted it. So I remember she was crying. My friend stole my name. I came up with it. I have an Instagram. She did. So I said, don't worry about it. You can recreate. So that's how she recreates to Amora. So everybody knew her as Amora. She actually never wanted to use her name Natasha, not because she didn't want to use Natasha. She loved Amora because that was her baby. So when I started looking for a name for the organization, I was like, instead of saying Natasha, I'll just use the name that she wanted for her company. So that's how that name came about.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Very powerful.
So what can people expect to see at the event? What's going on at that event that we're having?
So first of all, we would like to encourage everybody, go to the website, make a donation if you can attend the event in person. And we have several different tiers for the tickets to the event, which I'll get into a little bit later. But we have some distinguished guests, and the most notable one being, His Excellency Dr. Chola, another Bamashina, Dr.
Yes.
Chola Milambo, the ambassador and permanent representative of Zambia to the United Nations. Among the speakers, we have our very own, board member, Dr. Chewe Luo. I mean, she's a global leader in, pediatric health and HIV and AIDS advocacy. So she'll be talking a little bit about, some of the programs around, healthcare services. So there'll be 5-course dinner. It's a sit-down dinner, so we're encouraging everybody to buy the tickets. And for those who are asking, why we would not be selling tickets at the door, it's because, it's a sit-down dinner. And we need to give, the venue, the number of people that will be attending so that we can pay for that upfront. And that's the reasoning for why we're encouraging everybody to buy the tickets now. So we have different tiers for the tickets. We have tickets for the students, which will be $100. The general admissions now, we had some, pre-sale tickets, which finished on August 4th. Now we have the general admission, which is $165. We have the VIP tickets, which will be $350. Then we have sponsors and vendors. For those who have businesses and would like to be part of, our vendors, we have tables still available. That's going to be $500. Then we also have, the donor circle, and they'll have, special seating at the event as well. Those are the people who will be giving $1,000. Then of course we have the corporate sponsors giving the upwards of $1,500. So it's going to be fun. And how could I forget? You are the MC, Mr. Katuta, along with Ms. Kwanguli Wewe. So we're very excited. It should be a fun night. Please come out and support this noble cause. And any amount that you donate is going to go a long way into changing and impacting, the lives of the children that we're raising money for at the launch on September 1st. So come out and support us and help us out.
Well said.
Yes, and also just to add on to what Chola says, we will have some silent auctions. We will have some giveaways. And on that day, we will also unveil a few, because this is just one of many projects that we intend to embark on. So we will unveil at least 2-3 projects projecting the next 6 months. And for all those people that want to donate, you can use the website, donate through PayPal, or you can send the money directly to the foundation. And just know that we are a 501c tax exempt nonprofit organization. So all donations that go through the website or you send directly to the account, you will get a tax receipt. The only tax receipt we're not going to give is for the tickets through the ticket site, because that goes through the ticket site, and they're charging all different kinds of fees. But most people have been very supportive. Most people have just donated directly to the foundation. So we really appreciate your help, and everybody that's going to donate, we definitely will put names of people in our program who have a specific area for the program. And for those that want to donate a certain amount and want to advertise their services, so please feel free to do that. We'll be able to do that.
One thing I know about Zambians and friends of Zambia in the diaspora is that we rally up. When time comes to show love and support, we never fail. So I'm speaking to our people out there, the Zambians and the friends of Zambians. This is another one of those days that we have to come together. We have to come together because we need this school to be built. I'm sorry it has been built, but to me, in my language, if I hear the word dilapidated, that means it's broken. So it has to be rebuilt. So it's time for us to come together and show support. These children, our children, are some of the brightest children I know in Africa and the world. And I see them every day. I've lived in America 30 years. And I see them go to university. I see them doing so many things. And that's why I'm a big advocate of stopping the brain drain, because I want us to keep our children back home. So when we have a school that is from grade 1 to grade 7, that is the future. That is the future of our country. And all we have to do is put a few dollars together and make sure that they have a desk to sit on, a computer to learn from, so that they can compete on the global market, then let's do it. One thing I've found out walking, or rather traveling around Africa, is that the dollar goes a long way.
Yes,
it does.
What we use for coffee and lunch and drinks could buy desks, books, computers. So let's do something for our children, so that one day we can be proud and say our children are where they are because we participated. Let's buy a brick so we could build a strong foundation for our children. Dr. Chira, anything you'd like to add on?
Yeah, so any amount. I know sometimes, first of all, I'd like to thank everybody. The support has been overwhelming. We have friends and people buying tickets that won't even attend, just donating. So just letting people know that it doesn't matter how much it is, even if it's $5, $10, it goes a long way. There's strength in numbers. And we live in the US, where we have access to so much. It's very easy for me to get 100 computers, but the issue comes, how do we ship it? All that is money. There is no lack of resources in this part of the world. It's just organizing ourselves and ensuring that we come up with a system of providing all the necessary stuff that the kids need. Because even desks, there's so many places that you can get desks, you can get books. There's an organization that ships a 20-foot container of books. All you have to pay is $2,000 for the container. So there's just so much that we can do. So any kind of support that you can give will really be appreciated. It's time for us Zambians, especially in the diaspora, it's time for us to start leveraging each other's resources and networks and strengths in order to give back. We've been here a long time, and there are only few people that are doing that. So if more of us can come together and give back, we would alleviate a lot of poverty and just spreading love, letting the kids know they have hope. It doesn't matter where they came from. What matters is where they're going. Forget about their environment, where they were born. It's about their future, where they are now and where they intend to go. And it's for us to paint that picture and to paint that vision and just to give them hope that there is a better tomorrow, because we can't let the government do everything. That's why we are there, to fill in the gaps. The government can help when they can, but we as individuals, I think it's our responsibilities when we've gotten to a certain level and we have access to also give back.
Yeah. Just to add to that.
My call to action is get involved in any way you can. You don't have to be physically present to attend the dinner, but you can support, or you can tell someone, or you can tap into your network and ask them to support. Thank you.
And regarding donations, for those who work for corporations, we're registering Amora Legacy Hope Foundation with Benevity. And so your companies can actually match the donations that you make to our foundation. So please, just donate something. Like, Dr. Cynthia said, $5 goes a long way. We have to impact the lives of our children back home, and even here in the United States. And another point I forgot to mention was that the foundation is also registered in Zambia. So that's why we're able to do some work back in Zambia, but it's also registered here in the New York area. And we have some flyers and we have some information that we'll be disseminating, of course, with, different media outlets, including, Pastor Nkama's blog radio. So please just look out for more information coming. We only have a couple of weeks before, the launch of the foundation and the benefit dinner. So support us any way you can. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. I'm reading some of the responses we're getting. We have a lot of people watching, by the way. I could just name a few names that I can see because they are going by so fast. I see Maria Casolo wishing us well. I see Matilda Lucas Mwaba. I see even our sister Kwanguli Wewe is watching. I see Sheila Nkonde is watching. A lot of people watching, a lot of well wishes. So people, thank you so much for the love and support. And we want to make sure that we do this for our children because nobody's coming to do it for us. I always say we are the ones we've been waiting for. And what happens is, sometimes you say something so many times it becomes cliche. But this is real. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Our children are counting on us. And if we want them to prosper, we have to invest in them. We don't have a lot of time left here, but before we go, I would like to just say to Dr. Cynthia Chirwa, my sister, you're an amazing woman. I've had an opportunity to not only share your space professionally, but also personally in your home. You welcome us in your home, and just your heart, your giving, continue to do that. But Mashina, I'm looking forward to seeing you, meeting you, so we can chat some more. When I'm surrounded by such powerful women, it makes me feel so well, so good, in the sense that our women, just like our mothers, are the ones that carry the heavy lifting. Our men are there, but our men need to be nudged. We are there, but that's when we step up to the plate. So thank you so much. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back.
The Association of Zambians in DC, MD, and VA presents the second annual gala. Host, Dr. Grace Mukupa. Co-host, Kwanguli Wewe. Guest of honor, His Excellence Ambassador Chibamba Kanyama. Date, August 19th, 2023. Time, 6 p.m. Venue, Gaithersburg, Marriott, Washington Center. Charges, individuals, $125. Table for 10, $1,150. And VIP, $200. Special appearance by Muka Chisaka, Miss Africa USA Culture Ambassador. Entertainment by DJ Flowkid. Dress code, formal dinner wear. For tickets, send your payments via Zelle at azDMV@unitedstates@gmail.com and Cash App at $AZDMVA. Sponsored by Nostalgia Solutions, Association of Zambians in DC, MD, and VA, and Amazon.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. This is Jimmy Katuta. On behalf of my brother Nathan Nkama on Zambia Blog Talk Radio, talking to my sisters about the launch of the Amora Legacy Hope Foundation. Can we, Bamashina, can we describe, or rather let people know what the VIP encompasses? Because some of us like to go VIP style, you know.
Yes, of course. So it will be just a much more enhanced experience than, the regular general admissions ticket. There'll be champagne on those tables. There will be free merchandise. And as a matter of fact, for those of you, if you visit who want to visit the website, we also have, merchandise with the Amora Legacy, logo on them. So they'll get goodie bags, with a few more stuff, items than the regular general admissions.
Okay.
We also have the 360, camera. They'll actually get, Cynthia, maybe you can add to that.
Yeah, I mean, the 360 camera booth adds a very great experience in terms of creating memories when people attend functions. I know that it's really hot right now. Everybody wants it. So we have that for people to participate and just have those memories after the event. And of course, the raffle tickets, we have great gifts that we're giving away. We have companies that are willing. We are working on a lot of different gifts. Companies have pledged to give some gifts. We're working on some airline tickets. We're working on several different things. So come and be there so you can see when we do unveil on that day what people will be able to win or take part in silent auction.
You know what's exciting about this 3D camera? First time I saw it was at our OZA, Zambia Independence in Texas. And I spent so much time on that thing. I was so excited. It gives you so many angles. But that is definitely something I want to get on. We're very, very excited and looking forward to it. I know I'm in Zambia right now, Dr. Chirwa, or rather in Africa, but I intend to be at that event. And I have a team of people that are coming with me, so we'll be there to support you. I think we have come to the end of our show, unless there's something else that you ladies would like to add.
I'd just like to thank Pastor Nathan Nkama, for this space again. I couldn't be, more thankful for him to obviously squeeze us in, because this was supposed to be your time allotted to you for launching your program. And also thanks to you too for really being selfless. You've worked so hard to want to launch your program today, and you did give up that space for us to come here and do this. I'm so grateful from the bottom of my heart. And thank you so much to everybody that is supporting, everyone that has donated, everybody that is giving whatever they can give to the foundation. So thank you. That's all I wanted to say.
Well, thank you. Thank you for taking the lead. And, we're looking forward to, you hosting the event, and wishing you safe travels, back to the US whenever you're ready. But also just thank you to all our donors, thank you to the people who are buying tickets. Thank you to our volunteers. People have really turned out, and there's, tremendous support. So we're looking, forward to having the event and having a fun night. Celebrate, Natasha's birthday, as well as, give back, to other kids who are, in need of our services and programs. So thank you.
There you have it, Zambia. Your people are talking, and I know you're listening. We're grateful that you had a chance to tune in and listen to us. So we hope to see you on September 1st in New York. From me, Jimmy Katuta in South Africa, I'd like to say thank you for watching and take care. We love you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Zambia Blog Talk Radio.